Explain
Gabe
that to me.
Kapler, Brodes.
Come on, really
Gabe
stop.
Kapler. He is our pioneer.
You are now listening to the Dan Brode's Show.
What is going on, everybody? Back with another episode of the Dan and Brode's Show. Before we begin this one, do not forget, over on Twitter, you can follow me at Brodes81. This is your last chance to win a one-year MLB TV subscription before it ends. So make sure you go run over on Twitter and do that. And today, Dan, we are discussing this Phillies series with the Padres. Just give me a little rundown on what you thought about this bad boy.
We're in a really bad rut night right now, obviously. We need to hit the ball, man. It's getting out of control. I thought yesterday, when we started hitting early with Nola on the mound, that maybe we broke through. Maybe we figured it out. Maybe we got a rhythm. Nope, they went dry after they scored early in that game, and Nola had to figure it out, or we would have been in trouble, because he was dangerously close to giving that lead up, and we fell apart early.
Dude, and it started with game one. So game one, we lose 2-0, and we had Eflin on the mound, who pitched very well. He pitched a very good game. We had opportunities early, first inning, second inning, seventh inning. Well, even back then, we had opportunities with guys in scoring position. And, for example, first inning, bases juiced, 2 outs, Odubel Herrera just grounds out. We don't cash in. Our situational hitting is garbage.
Running in scoring position has been rough recently. We came into this series, I think, on like a 9 or a 10 inning scoreless drought. So when you travel across country, that's one thing. When you come in slumping, that's really bad. They just never got out of it.
But yeah, I mean, it started with game one in this series, and I know fans are upset because it's the Padres. We've talked about this. The Padres were hot coming into this series, but at the end of the day, we are in a stretch right now where it doesn't matter anymore. We need to get wins because the Brewers fall in a series of the Braves, and that hurts.
Yeah, we were just talking about in one of the last episodes that the Phillies, on paper, have one of the easiest schedules on the way out, and the Braves have one of the toughest. But if the Braves are going to be beating teams like the Brewers, we have absolutely got to show up and win the games that we're supposed to win. As long as we're winning every time Nola goes out there, we're still going to have a shot, because at the very least, we're going to win 1 out of 5. But losing a series to a team like San Diego, I don't care how hot they are. This just isn't the time for that.
It's bad. It is bad. And like I said, so we lose game one of this series. Just bad hitting all around. Opportunities were there, and that's what bothers me. Opportunities were there to win, to get hits, to get runs, and we just didn't cash in. And then we move on to game two, where we have Aaron Nola on the mound, and he was struggling. It wasn't himself, but the all-star version of him finds a way to grind it out, and still, even though it wasn't his best game, goes 6 deep and gives up 0 earned runs. So even though it wasn't his greatest start, he still finds a way to help this club win a baseball game.
This is what makes the difference between good pitchers and great pitchers. Even when Nola doesn't have his best stuff, and he didn't have his best stuff. Granted, he was getting squeezed a little bit early in that game. He clearly did not, big time getting squeezed early in that game. But even so, he clearly didn't have his best stuff, but he managed the game. He pitched like a veteran in this game, and he shut it down by picking the corners. I think they had 3 runners reach third base in 6 innings. They had the bases loaded. He hit a batter. He walked the pitcher. Still managed to get 6 scoreless. I love that. I love that.
Honestly, that is pretty remarkable to think about. But he did have some backup offensively, because Nick Williams hits a triple. And I just talked about it. Game 1, we didn't score with opportunity in the first inning. Game 2, we have an opportunity in the first inning, and we crack 2 runs in. And that's the difference. We score early in the game, which puts the other team on their heels.
Yeah, and it's a good thing we scored early, because they went into another little bit of a funk there after those first couple of innings. And I was a little bit nervous. You were texting me. I was on the boardwalk watching the game on my phone. I was like, you know what? We're good. Nola's pitching. We're all right. But then with every other pitch from Nola, I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. He doesn't have his best stuff. We're going to have to score again. And we didn't, but it's all good because he shut it down. When did we score again after that first inning? What did we get, 2 in the first?
Fourth and the fifth, we had a home run by Franco in the fourth, and then a home run by Cesar.
Ball was smashed. That Franco ball was a
oh my
missile.
God, that was a bomb.
Missile.
That was an absolute bomb.
Yep, but even those swings, were they both solo home runs, I believe?
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
So again, even with that, we did not hit with runners in scoring position well this entire series.
Oh, it's so bad, dude. It's so bad. And then yesterday's game, we have Jake Arrieta on the mound, and He's been hot as of late. His last 3-4 starts were actually tremendous, and he gets lit up. And Freddie Galvis,
That's your boy.
It's a grand salon. I love his defense, and we can go into defense with this game because you know why? We didn't see it out of the Phillies. Franco had a brutal play throwing it to home, and it just goes past the catcher, and that scores a run.
Austin Davis.
Oh, come on.
PFPs, man.
I thought I was watching the Little League World Series regionals, trying to get the kids to get in. I swear to God, I thought that's what I was watching.
PFPs, dude. Do your PFPs.
I don't get it with this team. It is crazy. Like, you think of it as we are terrible offensively. We are horrible defensively. And we're in this position. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't click to me.
It makes sense.
How? Explain
Gabe
that to me.
Kapler, Brodes.
Come on,
Gabe Kapler. He is our pioneer of this run that we are about to go on for the next decade. Gabe Kapler. He's got the Bad News Bears in the playoffs this year. Come on, bro. Say it with me. Cap. Back the cap.
No. Dude, no. And that's your... Oh, we're going with the Boston series next with Nick Pivetta and Vince Velasquez on the mound in the biggest struggle yet. The only positive I can spin on this is we're home. We're home. I mean, is that enough, though, with the Red Sox? No.
No, it's not enough with the Red Sox, but the most Phillies thing ever would be winning both of these games. That would be the most Phillies thing ever.
I agree with you. See, this is the thing with this Phillies team. We lose this stuff, and I freak out and say, this is ridiculous. We suck. We can't do this. We can't do that. And then they just shut me up by doing something ridiculous. That's why I'm sitting back on this one saying, you know what? What am I going to do?
That's the beauty of baseball, man. It's the beauty of baseball. You go and you lose 2 out of 3 to San Diego. People are throwing their remotes at the TV, and then you take 2 from Boston. They're probably not going to take 2 from Boston, but I'm being optimistic here. That they've been doing it all year. We said it with the Arizona series. They looked horrible in 2 games, but they beat Zach Greinke. Why are you like this?
I don't know. This team is. I mean, I know you watch the Flyers, obviously. The Flyers are the most extreme roller coaster ride of a Philadelphia team I've ever experienced, and this Phillies team said, "Hold my beer." That's what it says. It said, "Hold my beer." I am worse. No, that is insane, dude. I've never experienced anything like this as a sports fan.
You're 100% right. I believe the Flyers beat the Caps 8-2 and lost to Buffalo like in the same 10-day window last year. So it's a Philly thing. It's a Philly thing.
It does concern me though, because no matter what, no matter where we get in this end of the season, I do think it's going to come back to the last 5-6 games, whatever, of the season. But if we do play this way, which I do think majority of the season we do, I am concerned. I am moving forward in the late part of this season.
You know why I'm not concerned?
Really? You're going to do this to me?
Well, first of all, I wasn't going to say it, but Gabe Kapler. 2,
okay.
We're already so much farther than we honestly thought we would be, and I hate to just be the guy that's sitting back.
That guy.
I hate to be that guy. I got my feet up. I'm relaxing. I know. We need to win it all the time.
You're in the Mikey Miss relaxing chair.
Yeah, I'm with Mikey Miss on this one. The Birds won the Super Bowl. We're better than we were supposed to be. We're going to go get a big gun in the offseason. We're going to be right back in this position next year, but better. So I'm riding the wave, man. I'm riding the wave. You never know what's going to happen. Wilson Ramos, I'll tell you what.
Guy.
We put Wilson Ramos in this lineup, they get scarier. I need Wilson back.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And what are your thoughts at this point of Carlos? Because I'm going to say in yesterday's game, we had the opportunity, like I said, with the man on third base. It was Cesar on third. Full count. And my man lets a pitch go right down the middle. It was corner-ish, down the middle-ish. That doesn't even make sense. But it was there. It was a strike is what I'm going for here. My man does one of these with his body and starts to take off his pad as if it's a walk, just because he assumes he's
baiting ball 4, baby.
Swing the bat, dude. Yeah. When we have Bohr, who had an opportunity in the 9th, does he get a chance coming up here?
Well, his one at bat in yesterday's game, he absolutely ripped the ball. But the one thing about Carlos that it's hard to critique it, because at the same time, this is where his value is as a player. He is a little bit he needs to put the foot on the pedal sometimes. There's certain situations like the at-bat you're talking about where I would love to see him just hacking up there. He's just a slow and steady, patient guy. But there's days where I'm totally on board with it. Like he does, we do need more. We do need more out of him. For what he's getting paid, I totally get it. We do need more. I understand where his value is, though, and what he does for the team. I'm with you on it's an aggressive thing. If you strike out, you strike out. Swing the bat.
Right.
Swing the bat in that situation. You're in the 4-hole.
I agree.
You're getting paid big time money.
I like Carlos Santana, and I do think he's valuable. But you said it best. There is times where he needs to spark it up a little bit. He needs to take a chance. He needs to do something. But you bring Bohr in here this late in the season. Carlos has been the guy all 117 games in. Gabe Kapler even said, listen, Carlos, this is your spot. We're not bringing this guy in to take your spot. Yeah. And I get that. He's been here all season long. You're not just going to say, screw it. At this point, we're going to flip-flop you guys. I doubt that happens. But Carlos needs to – maybe he feels a little bit of fire under his ass a little bit now that someone else is here. Who knows? Little
spark plug on that. That's one thing that's one thing I don't think I've heard very many people comment on it. When you have that in-house competition, it can bring the best out of guys. And Bohr's the type of guy, if he gets hot, I mean, what if he comes off the bench and he's 7 for 9 as a pinch hitter? Carlos, pick it up, brother. Pick it up, brother.
No doubt. Well, I'll say this. Did that not just happen with Roman, Quinn, and Odubel? Roman got a chance today, right? He goes 0 for 4, but he got his chance. And speaking of 0 for 4, let me say, Rhys Hoskins has been bad. He's, I think, 1 for his last 27.
He has been very streaky this year. Hopefully the streakiness that he's shown this year isn't something we see going forward. I think what he did last season and how fast he bursted on the scene, maybe we set the bar a little bit too high. I definitely set the bar a little bit too high. But we know what he's capable of. Just hopefully now that this year he's got a whole season under his belt, he can be a little bit more consistent going forward. Instead of having 1 for 27 cold streaks, you have 1 for 15 cold streaks, and that's your that's the worst of it. But we're gonna have to see going forward. But at some point here he's gonna get hot and he's gonna rip 4 or 5 off.
No doubt. And that's what I was gonna say when you mentioned that we expect too much of him. I don't think we do because we've seen him do it. We've seen him go through that stretch where it's damn, we've seen that.
Yeah.
But we've seen this, and we just gotta mesh it where this 1 for 27 becomes 0 for 13, and then bang, the switch is back on. He's got to find a way to get the groove going again.
You can have a bad 3-4 game series. You can have a bad 3-4 game series. You can't have a bad week and a half. You can't have a bad week.
Right. This is a tough time for this Phillies team too, because we've seen, the thing that upsets me the most is we've seen these type of stretches throughout the season, but that's baseball. A lot of teams do this. But it's just, man, when it's bad with this team, it is really, really bad. And I don't think that there's a worse definite... Like, I've never seen a team go through a bad stretch of this extent, though. I really don't know if I have. It's defensively... Is there a worse team defensively?
No, not even close.
If you say that, then that's a problem because we compete with the Orioles for the worst defensive squad.
Phillies are the worst defensive team in the league. And amongst playoff teams, it's an embarrassment. Amongst the playoff teams, it's an embarrassment.
That's an issue to me. Mm-hmm. What do we do? How do you fix that? Who does that fall on? And I think we might have brought this up. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's Gabe Kapler's fault because it's not. But at some points, like, what do you do? Because you can't continue to do this with the position that we're in. This stretch can't happen right now. This is just not the time for it. We got to find a way to clean up our defense.
I can see the switch defensively for this team being that offseason acquisition. Because we've talked about it before, about like the commitment of the fan base. When we go get that big dog, like let's say we sign a Machado, I feel like it's not just gonna be with the fans. I think it's also gonna be with the players. Everyone, it's gonna turn things up. Like, we're ready now. Now we're serious. Yeah. We're not just the underdog having a Cinderella season. We might get into playoffs. We want to win a World Series now. Like, we're ready now. I don't want that to be next season, But on paper, no matter what they do the rest of the year, it's going to look ugly defensively. Statistically, they're going to look real ugly on paper for the rest of the season, no matter what they do. At the end of the year, it's going to look ugly. But you got to clean it up in-house because this is what we have. And even if we go get one big dog, that's one big dog. We're not going to completely change the dynamic of the entire team. We're still going to see Franco at third. We're still going to have Carlos at first. It's going to be Kingery or Cesar on second. It's going to be Odubel in center next year.
What bothers me though is you say Franco, you say Carlos Santana. These guys should not be the ones making mistakes. Franco had one today that was bad, but he's been hot defensively as of late. Am I wrong to say Carlos Santana won a defensive thing last year for his first base play?
This is the thing with Carlos Santana. This is the thing with Carlos Santana that irritates me. Is he had really rough stretches this season. He hasn't been bad all year. Like he had like a 3-week Carlos Santana. He had like a 3-week stretch in May where I think he made a handful of errors. There was a week where the whole team was actually playing really bad defensively, but he was ugly. I think he tried to turn two. I remember him throwing a ball in the left field, but that's not something he's done throughout his career. He's been good defensively since he came out from behind the plate. It's just like a stigma. Like stuff like this is contagious. You know what I mean? It's contagious, and I feel like it's affected everybody. And they just need to.
Are we going hard? Have you seen Hard Knocks?
No, I have not caught up. Okay. I have not caught up.
There is a Jarvis Landry thing going where he's talking about how contagious the atmosphere is in that locker room, and that's why they lose. Yeah, I thought you were going with something like that there.
Sometimes you gotta wipe it clean, man. Sometimes you gotta wipe it clean and start over. You can apply that to anything. We can't do that
now. If we wipe it clean and start over, then we're no. We can't be doing that now.
No. Well, that's what I mean by the off-season thing, and maybe going out and picking up a spark plug.
Yeah, listen. At this point,
forget it happened.
I want. Yeah, I got you. I want Machado over Bryce Harper. I want Manny Machado. I think that's a bigger need.
I feel
the shortstop position. It's a bigger need, and I don't like Nick Williams defensively. I feel like he doesn't know how to run. He like stumbles over himself. He doesn't know how to walk. He just trips. It's unbelievable. But we need help at shortstop. And what do we do with JP? I don't know.
We haven't had a true shortstop playing shortstop all season long. All season long. Who knows?
Yeah, it's
who knows?
Crazy.
Maybe JP Crawford comes back next year and has a 380 OBP. And plays Gold Glove shortstop defense. That'd be insane. Never know. I don't listen, man. Let me be optimistic. I take pride in not being a Negadelphian.
Yeah, you're right. That is my nickname. Listen. Moral of the story is we lose a brutal series with the Padres. The Braves win their series. We're not looking good right now. We struggle big time, and we have the Boston Red Sox coming up next. That's where we're at. So
where we are.
Oh, what are you going to do? All right, well, make sure you go to Twitter at Brodes81 if you want to win that 1-year MLB TV subscription. You retweet my tweet, and I will be picking the winner shortly. Thank you guys so much for listening to Dan and Brodes. We will see you next time.
Not Sports Hub.
Not Sports Hub.